Jury found them not guilty after deliberating about 14 hours. Pablo Guzman is at the victory celebration in Newark, New Jersey. Pablo?
Thank you, Cora. The party has moved from Terry's Bar to the Vesuvius restaurant here in Newark. And as you can see, it's a happy occasion, a happy crowd, a rather significant decision for the defendants, many of whom are here, along with their defense team, including defense attorney Maria Noto. Maria, what's your reaction at the verdict?
I am absolutely thrilled. I think that when a jury returns a verdict in a 17-month trial after 1.5 days, there's only one logical conclusion that can be drawn. And that conclusion is that these jurors are sending a message to these attorneys working for the government. And that message is that the testimony of paid witnesses with lengthy, heinous criminal records will never be an acceptable substitute for proof beyond a reasonable doubt. We're absolutely thrilled. Justice has been done.
They're on a roll here today, as you can see, and they're going to be partying into the night. These are some of the events from earlier in the day.
The government's loss was the defendant's gain, and a reason to party hardy. All 20 defendants were found not guilty of racketeering charges in the longest-running crime trial in federal history. 21 months of government work down the tubes.
I certainly don't feel embarrassed, and I don't think we should feel embarrassed. I think we should feel proud for what we tried to do.
They produced the scum of the earth to testify against 20 basically good people. And I think the jury said, you know, we're not going to buy it. Forget about it.
We're very, very happy, ecstatic, and drunk.
One of the defense attorneys, Robert Brown, was elected mayor of Orange during the trial. Defense attorney John Sogluzzo said the government's case fell apart when it got to the jury. Shown here waving after the trial, they only took 2 days to deliberate.
From Terry's Bar, the party moved at 9 to the Vesuvius restaurant. Defense attorney John Sogluzzo, why do you think the government lost their case?
They weren't able to sustain a burden of proof. We had jurors there for 17 months, Pablo, and they were able to find justice in this case. That's about the extent of it. I mean, they gave it all. They spent the time. They looked over everything, and they came back with a not guilty. The government just couldn't sustain a burden of proof.
Thank you, John. Big loss for the government, big victory for the defendants and their attorneys. Reporting live from the Vesuvius restaurant in Newark, Pablo Guzman, Fox News, Channel 5. Back to you in the studio.
Okay, Pablo, thank you very much. Students at NYU
The courthouse for the last time, the 20 defendants and their families cheered wildly. Just moments earlier, the jurors had acquitted the group of all government charges. Charges that is virtually the entire New Jersey branch of the Lucchese crime family. The defendants, led by reputed capo Anthony Asituro of Hollywood, Florida, and Michael Tassetta of Florham Park, engaged in drug dealing, gambling, credit card fraud, and loan sharking. The trial took 21 months, but the jurors took just 14 hours to reach a verdict.
They sent a message to the government that they're not going to stand for anything like this ever again.
The people that they brought in here to try to destroy our lives, our wives' lives, our children's lives, people were despicable. And that's why they came back in a day and a half.
As the champagne flowed at Terry's Bar behind the courthouse, defense lawyers contended the government lost its case by relying too much on unsavory paid informers.
They were the type of witnesses that you would not accept anything vital in your life based upon their testimony.
I think it's entirely speculative at this point to try to say why the jury reached the particular verdict it did, or why they did so quickly.
Although the verdict was a stunning defeat for the government, which had presented 89 witnesses and 400 tapes, Alito insisted the prosecution built a good case.
I'm very proud of what the members of the strike force in my office did in this case. We have nothing to apologize for, nothing to be embarrassed about.
The prosecution would not put a dollar amount on the nearly 2-year trial, but the U.S. attorney insisted it was money well spent despite the outcome. Said Alito, if you don't go to trial, you'll never win. Stephanie Shelton for the News at 10 in Newark.